My name is Freya Schermacher. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Minnetonka High School. I work closely with the Immersion program. So this program tonight is for parents of immersion students. Tonight at 6 o'clock. At 7 o'clock we have a more comprehensive program about ninth grade opportunities in general. So please stay for that if you're able. It is a different program, so it's not the same information. It's also available online if you have other commitments and you can't make it at 7. First of all, I really just want to thank you for coming out. It's been a lonely place these past 3 days or so, and it literally warms my heart to see everybody here. I suppose everybody's happy just to get out of the house, but it's nice to see you all. So the purpose of today's presentation is to kind of talk about the different opportunities available for immersion students as you enter high school. Obviously, we are a just go up there. That's not going to work. Obviously, we are a comprehensive high school with a wide array of opportunities that are going to be available to your incoming ninth grade student. And we understand that immersion is one piece of that pathway, but it's a crucial piece that could really help direct, the wider high school career that your student has. So thank you for coming. Our purpose tonight is, first of all, we're just really happy to meet you, happy to bring you into the high school, to have an opportunity to interact with me, with Ms. Siegel, who are immersion program lead. We have counselors, teachers here for you to interact with, so it's nice to meet you all. We also want to share some opportunities for ninth grade, the choices and decisions that you'll be making, as well as take a look at all of the opportunities beyond ninth grade, 10th through 12th grade, as well as beyond high school. So that's kind of what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. So obviously your child has been committed to immersion since kindergarten. They've made it all the way through, almost through 8th grade, which is a significant accomplishment, and I applaud you for that as a parent, for encouraging that, for sticking through that. And as we move into high school now, we really want to encourage you to continue that growth, continue that commitment, and understand the multiple opportunities they'll have here and beyond. Because as beyond high school, there's a whole world of opportunities that having this fluency in a second language will bring your child, both in college and beyond high school. So while we're really talking about both immediate choices for ninth grade, we're also talking about opening a whole career and opportunities lifelong for your son or daughter. So with that in mind, we're going to show you a video, which is going to kind of give you an overview of the different courses and opportunities, and then we'll talk in more detail about that after the video. Thanks.
Welcome to MHS.
Juanguing Minnetonka.
Bienvenidos a la experiencia bilingüe en Minnetonka.
You're going to love it here.
And opportunities to go further in your language continue.
Minnetonka High School presents immersion opportunities all 4 years.
We have language pathways and elective language arts and social studies opportunities.
In ninth grade, students can elect to take AP Language and Culture or Immersion Language Arts 9, along with Human Geography and Civics, to cover their ninth grade social studies requirements.
In 10th grade, we offer Chinese or Hispanic Honors Humanities, which are immersion language arts courses with an emphasis on literature and the cultural and historical context behind the literature. This course will prepare students to take IB junior or senior years.
For junior and senior years, try IB Chinese or Spanish language and literature. This course can count toward an IB diploma and possibly earn college credit.
Taking an IB path can lead to an IB bilingual diploma.
That can set you apart and tell the world you are ready for college in 2 languages.
If as a junior or a senior, you are not interested in the IB pathway, look for Chinese or Spanish conversation and composition. This is a great way to continue developing your language and analytical skills.
Now semester electives. We have worked hard creating exciting opportunities to explore your language through unique content.
Try a film and culture course in Spanish or Chinese. Explore careers and professions using Chinese or Spanish. And a special summer elective, Immersion Abroad. where you will join MHS on a trip to Chile or China and complete a 2-week study project.
If you're into politics and history, you can take electives like Intro to Chinese or Latin American Politics. And for juniors or seniors, a special offering for Spanish, IB Global Politics.
You can also combine other MHS opportunities with your language. Volunteer at the elementary immersion schools or apply your language with backpack tutoring. Vantage students can incorporate and apply their language skills in local business.
Finally, if 2 languages are not enough, add one more. Minnetonka offers third language courses in Spanish, French, German, Chinese, and ASL, American Sign Language.
Once you start getting a high level proficiency like I have, in my class right now, we're reading actual Chinese novels that people in China read.
Begin to find clarity in things that you may not have understood before.
Making my Spanish more fluid when I talk, especially in the pre-AP course, which you can take your freshman year.
All the opportunities, friends, I got to explore abroad. I went to Chile and stayed with a family, and I now have that connection on the other side of the world.
Staying with a host family, I really felt that I was immersed in the culture and that I gained a deeper understanding of Chinese and what it means to speak another language.
Immersion at Minnetonka High School. Continue the journey and finish strong.
继续学中文，努力学习。
Disfruta tu experiencia y continúa perfeccionando tu segunda lengua.
Okay, so as you can see from the video, we have a comprehensive program all the way through high school. We do have some of those students here tonight to offer their perspectives at the end. We have honors tracks, regular tracks, electives, and many different opportunities for your immersion language learner. Our hope is that they do continue their language study through high school, this commitment that they've made so far for 9 years. If they can follow through, their opportunities are just going to be tremendous. So I'll be talking about all of these different pathways. Similar to 8th grade, we have language arts pathways, social studies pathways, and then I'll discuss the options for the electives and supplement programming with Vantage, travel, and online. So, go ahead. Okay. So you do have this pathway in front of you. It's the handout you received. I'm going to start with Spanish immersion language arts, and then we'll get to Chinese as well. For language arts, in 9th grade, they really have 2 options, AP, Language and Culture, or Spanish Immersion Language Arts 9. I'll talk about the difference between those 2 and how to make that decision. Beyond that, we offer humanities, composition, conversation, and for the very advanced Spanish immersion students, we offer IB Lang and Lit in their junior and senior years. And I'll move to Chinese now. Chinese has the identical pathway, same decision in 9th grade. You can choose between AP Chinese Language and Culture or Chinese Immersion Language Arts 9, known as Chila. After that, there's humanities honors, composition conversation, then also Chinese Lang and Lit for the juniors and seniors. So the 2 questions we're really going to help you with tonight and help guide you through. Number 1, which language arts course to take, and number 2, do we want to take social studies and have 2 hours of immersed experience in every day of their high school experience. So I'm going to start with AP Language and Culture. The majority of our incoming 9th graders are ready for this class. They've had a great preparation all the way through 8th grade, and AP is a college level weighted grade opportunity for these students. The majority of them are ready for it. Got a great program coming up to the high school. They'll do a variety of writing formats. They'll be engaged in group discussions and presentations, and it is expected that they have dedicated study skills with this college level course. AP has 6 different themes you can see up there that they'll explore on a daily basis in their interactions, in their readings, in the authentic videos that they see. And this course is culminated in the AP exam that happens in May. For some students, they may want 1 more year to just get used to the high school, maybe polish up their grammatical components of their language skills, and develop their writing skills or literary analysis. In that case, then we offer Language Arts 9, known as Sila in Spanish or Chila for Chinese. This course is one that does address some fossilized errors that may have happened with grammar, clean up some common mistakes that we've identified in the programming, advance their language and writing skills, and get them ready for success in AP. To clarify though, the majority of our 9th grade students are ready for AP after their 8th grade year. So You're wondering, how do I decide this? And it's not the magic 8 ball like our generation needed to have. The main thing is, what is their level of success in their language arts courses? They've had some experience now in 6th through 8th. How are they handling their language arts courses? Number 2, and this is something for the student to reflect upon too, what is their maturity as a student? Are they going to dedicate to reading at home and following through on the requirements of this college level weighted grade course? And then finally, you can get some really specific information in their linguistic ability with their stamp scores. Students who score a 5 or a 6 on the stamp have the skill levels ready for AP. And then the last thing, and probably of most value, is to consult with their current 8th grade language arts teachers. They know your students the best at this point. They know our programming up here, and they'll be a very valuable resource in guiding you through this decision of language arts. Okay, so you've just heard about language arts quite a bit, and there will be time for questions at the end, but at this time I'd like to transition and call up our social studies department. Eric Cottom for Chinese and Juan Pablo for Spanish.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jody, and Freya, and everyone else who's presenting today. So for me, this is my 4th year teaching Chinese immersion at Minnetonka, and to be honest, it's such a great opportunity to analyze this content, whether it be human geo or whether it be civics, in Mandarin. It's really a gateway to, in my mind, it's a gateway into another language and another culture. And I think very briefly, when I think about everything you see up there, all the content, the scope and sequence, that follows along with the normal 9th grade English curriculum. We were very intentional in terms of kind of planning that out. We wanted your students to really get an authentic experience in Mandarin, but we also wanted them to follow the standards set by the Minnesota School Board, or the Minnesota Department of Education, as well as the Minnetonka School Board. And so that was really, really an important focus. But to me, even more than just the content, it's, again, that opportunity to analyze this in a second language. For example, for me, I lived in China for 4 years, and every single experience I had was enhanced because of that language opportunity. It's an incredible gift. It's something that's going to allow your student to really do anything in life, but it's not even just that, it's the depth of experience. And to me, quite frankly, it is invaluable. And so I just really think that extra hour in social studies is so important. It really enhances their ability to analyze the content using a language and challenge them. And we really do. We challenge them in a lot of different ways in both human geo and civics. And so I just really, really strongly suggest that you consider taking that extra hour in Chinese. Okay, so thank you again. My name is Eric Cottom, and I'm the Chinese immersion social studies teacher here at MHS. I'm going to hand it over to Juan Pablo, Mr. Salcedo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cottom. Nice transition. Good evening, everyone. Maybe you remember me from the video earlier. I am the social studies teacher for the Spanish version of it. It's an amazing opportunity for your kids to practice their second language in a specific context. As Mr. Cottom said, related to human geography or civics, whatever it is, in the end what you're doing is you're making or giving this huge step towards becoming a global citizen. I've had the experience traveling with students from Minnetonka to my home country, Chile, and they really enjoyed that experience, and they were so impressed by the fact that they were able to socialize with people from a different country. And they applied all their learning in 9th grade, like a lot of skills we deal with about globalization, about being a citizen, about your duties, your responsibilities. It's a great opportunity for all of you. When it comes to like practical things like assessments, for example, in social studies in Spanish, you will have essays, you will have oral presentations. So it's just more than getting just tests and going on with the content. It's a whole experience that will prepare you for the upcoming years. One of the things usually parents ask me is that hey, is it going to be too difficult to get to 10th grade and learn US history and English, for example? And you can ask all the 10th grade teachers in social studies. Immersion students are always a step ahead. You're not just developing a second language, you're developing a whole set of skills that you're going to apply in American studies or in IB history. And I'm really glad that we have students tonight that you can ask them some questions later, because the bilingual experience is not just about practicing your Spanish or saying la cuenta, por favor. It's also a moment for you to become a global citizen and to practice everything you've learned since kindergarten. So thank you very much.
Thank you to Eric and Juan Pablo, and we are so lucky to have them working with your children. And working with mine, I didn't mention I have a 7th and a 5th grader coming up in the Spanish immersion program. So I'm just so happy to be in this position to really make sure that the program is everything that it can be for all of our students. I am just going to talk about the electives a little bit. I know we're here to talk about 9th grade, but I do want to just give you a vision of the pathway for their full immersion experience at MHS, and we're hoping that you're going to consider that as an option. In both languages for electives, we do offer a film and culture course, and that's also available online. We offer a careers and professions course in both languages. For Spanish, we also offer Hispanic linguistics, and then for the social studies electives, we have Intro to Chinese Politics, Intro to Latin American Politics, and in Spanish for their junior and senior year, we do offer an IB course in the immersed language, IB Global Politics. Maybe your children are just completely in love with learning language and they want to add a 3rd one to their skill set. It's great, we can offer that as well. We have our traditional courses in Chinese, French, German, Spanish, and American Sign Language. And due to their immersion experience and the pathways that they've created in their brain, we can offer an advanced 2-year course where they learn 3 years of language within 2 years due to what we can build upon that they already know. Those are offered in French, German, and Spanish. So looking ahead, there are many opportunities if your students stay with immersion. I'm going to start with Vantage, and I'll clarify Vantage, the course is actually not an immersed course. The course is conducted in English, but we do offer supplementary bonus opportunities for those students who have come through immersion. That can come in the form of a bilingual mentor, presentations conducted in the target language, interviews conducted in the target language, which is pretty cool, and presentations. So we offer that in the global business strand with Vantage, and that happens in their 11th and 12th grade years. The very exciting and very advanced opportunity is with the IB Bilingual Diploma. We actually have some bilingual candidates here tonight who can tell you a little bit more about it later. But this is for the very advanced learner in 6 areas. It's very exciting. They just also said to me it's very manageable. In their immersion language arts classes, they are taking Lang and Lit Language A. And if you're not familiar with IB Language A or Language B, what that means is that in their language arts courses in Chinese or Spanish, they're studying at the same level as they are in their English advanced classes. So, and they're doing well with it. So it's very exciting and quite amazing, to be honest. This is a comprehensive program that has quite a few moving elements to it. So if this is something that you'd be interested in hearing more about, there is an informational meeting on February 12th at 6 o'clock. And the IB coordinator is here tonight too for any questions. And then the last opportunity for them as they stick with immersion is that they can earn the Bilingual Seal. It is something that is recognized in most states, and with some building you can't see, but there are some shaded ones that are in the development stages. So how do they qualify for this seal, and what does it mean? In their high school testing experience, so the stamp score 9 through 12, or whenever they take their AP test, depending on how they score, Minnesota offers a gold or a platinum bilingual seal, and with that then can potentially receive college credit at MINSCU schools. So just to conclude, you really only have to decide 9th grade right now. You've heard about a lot of exciting opportunities for your children. The 2 main questions you're asking yourselves are, number 1, do I want 2 hours of immersion for my student? And that would be language arts and social studies. And then the second question is, which language arts course, AP or Language Arts 9. And you can decide that with their consultation with their 8th grade teacher, their stamp scores, their study skills, and so on. So with that, I'd like to bring up the experts and have time for questions, and thank you for being here tonight. But for Spanish, we have Aubrey Click, Tice Larson, and Alexis Zucker here. And then for Chinese, we have Izzy Pagano and Jing McIntosh. And I think what I'll do is repeat the question so you can hear what it is that they're answering, or I'm answering, or perhaps other experts will jump in and answer depending on the question. So I'll open it up at this time to any questions you might have. Yes?
Are any of you students at IB program, and if so, can you share your experiences?
So are any of you in the IB program, and if so, can you share your experiences? So, most of them are. So.
Actually, all of us are IB Dip fans. To talk about the experience in Chinese as a Chinese immersion student, I would say coming into 9th grade, I would ask your student what they envision for really their high school career, because if you are looking to go into IB, I highly recommend starting with AP, starting at that higher level and understanding kind of what's expected and being tested on that, and looking at both text and film and things like that are really going to benefit you when you do get to IB. To talk about IB, I would say that it's a really great community. It's a community of people who love to learn, who love to push boundaries. Discussions that are supposed to be 5 minutes go to whole hours, just things like that. What about Spanish?
I think IB pairs really well with immersion, specifically because of an IB, you're working on analyzing skills that go beyond multiple choice test. So often you're working more on free responses, writing essays, things like that. And with Spanish, particularly, you're able to write these comprehensive, very in-depth, long essays in another language. And Juan Pablo can testify my skill in that.
It's true.
But I think they pair really well because both enhance its ability to analyze difficult texts in difficult languages. And it's a really good skill for any student to learn who seeks to do something, especially if it's in another language later on in their life. Yeah.
So I'm in the IB Spanish Immersion HL course, which is basically the exact replica of the English language and literature HL course, but in Spanish. So it's like the English class, but in Spanish. So basically you have the opportunity to study at the same level that you are in your native language, and you're able to have these teachers guide you and push you and be able to lead you to success within your language, just so you can go beyond maybe what is offered elsewhere. So with IB, it really helps you go further and become really that global citizen that's everyone's talking about and stuff. So yeah, it helps you use it elsewhere in life and not only just in school.
So if you have taken an IB course in an immersion, do you have to be in the IB program?
Great question. If you take an IB class in immersion, do you have to be in the full IB program? No. There is the IB Diploma program, which is the comprehensive, and yes, you are in 6 classes. And most students just take 2 or 3 IB classes and don't do the whole diploma. And IB is not the only route. Our composition and conversation class is excellent. It's at college level itself. Our films and our careers, there are many valid and great pathways. We just happen to have all IB kids here tonight. But no, you can take it at 1 course, 2 course, 3 course, whatever fits your skill set and your interest level.
So you don't have to be, you can take the IB immersion course for the difficult level, but you don't have to take
Absolutely.
the IB program.
Yep, you don't have to be in the full IB program to take an IB class. We have 88 students in Spanish and 50, well, yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot less, but 56 complete diploma candidates in the junior class. That's actually non-immersion numbers popping out of my head right now. But no, you can take math or whatever your area of strength is. And if you have areas of strength in 6 strands, then that's the IB full diploma. Okay, did I see another hand back there? Yes. Yes, you can. You can do the IB program and do Vantage was the question. Dave?
You probably couldn't do any Vantage strand, but you could do it.
So there are slight limitations. You can't just do any Vantage strand that you want, but it can be done with careful planning. So, yes. Yes, at this time, so the question was, with social studies, she's seeing that there's potentially 3 choices. The way I saw it was either immersion or not. But yes, there's a 3rd choice because in English you have the choice of regular human geo or AP human geo. At this time it's not offered in the immersion language, so that's a little bit of a choice as well as you're deciding social studies. So, yes. I couldn't hear you. Sorry, could you repeat that? Studies. So, to clarify about, the question was, can they do Vantage and not do global studies? Anybody can do Vantage. Vantage is not actually an immersion course. The global studies class in particular is the only one that offers the supplementary bilingual mentor or presentations in the target language or group discussions in the target language. So if they're looking for immersion paired with Vantage, it will have to be that global studies course. Yeah, so yes? Maybe I should have the students answer that one, I think, but the question is, what are the benefits of doing IB? Certainly, just from the teacher perspective, you build a ton of skills that are going to make the transition to college almost easy. And there is college credit, which if you consider how much a credit costs these days, getting credits while you're in high school is something to be highly valued. But why IB?
I think the most important thing about IB that goes further than the education is really the community that's there. The teachers are great. They're very understanding of everything if you have anything going on. And the people are really amazing. You are surrounded by these people who actually want to learn and are interested in the conversations and discussions that are going on in class. Yeah, and again with IB, I think it's the better option just because you go more in depth than you would in a normal class. You read at home and then you come to school and you discuss it literally for the whole hour. You go super in depth in that thing and you really build a greater understanding of everything, every course that you're taking.
I think kind of like Aubrey said, it's just kind of this sense of community. Our class of 2019 has about 86 candidates and we're all pretty good friends with each other. If not really good friends with each other because we all pretty much take the same classes and we can help each other. One thing for me, I found that IB has helped me, write essays, be better prepared for college, and a lot of our classes align. Like if you're taking TOK, which is Theory of Knowledge, you can apply it to other classes that you're taking. Like I'm taking IB Psychology this year, and there's a lot of stuff that crosses over, and you can apply it.
And Jean, do you want to just describe how has it been to be a bilingual diploma candidate? What did you say to me earlier?
I think it's I think it's manageable. I don't think it's too overbearing, and I know there's rumors that junior year can be the hardest year, but I think being able to take the IB diploma in junior year and having that sense of community and just a big group of friends that you can look to for guidance or assistance is just really important, and I think it kind of supplants the IB diploma.
One of my favorite things about taking IB is the global perspective that you get. That's one of IB's main goals, and it's been fascinating how much I've learned not only about our culture here, but about the world. And that ties in really well with Spanish immersion and Chinese immersion, because this entire time you've been in immersion, you've been learning about a culture that's not your own. And while it might seem like you're focusing on language, you're also exploring that culture by meeting other people, by talking about things from that country, their native things. And so you've been building that up this entire time in immersion, and it's a great transition to go into IB and learn about more perspectives outside of your target language and the one that you already know.
And the thing about when you sign up for IB is not that you're signing up for 12 hours of homework every night. While there are days where it might be 5 hours of homework, that happens to be some of the homework that turns out to be incredibly interesting. As much as you would think that maybe reading a book from a different language that's translated into English might be challenging, or you might feel that there's a large barrier, the amount of just passion that IB teachers have for teaching reflects in the classroom and reflects in your work and reflects in how you view the world after that. There have been classes of theory of knowledge where I walk out of the room and I'm like, wow, I'm kind of a different person, even though I'm only 17. Like, I think when you sign up for IB, you're really signing up for an experience. And you're signing up to really say that you love to learn and that you're looking for an experience that's more than just memorizing something. You're really understanding a topic and looking at it more in depth and looking at how it affects people around you or people really far away from you. And that's just not an experience I would ever give up.
Well, kind of going off of what everyone else said, I really like IB, especially like in Chinese, because up until like I started IB last year and I'm a junior this year, but up until that point it felt like a lot of the things that we were learning in Chinese were a lot of different language and things about the language itself. And then in IB there's really an emphasis on applying it to learning more about the culture instead of just the language, which I really liked, along with everything else that everyone else said. But yeah, there's just a lot to love.
And then just a quick, also all of these students are able to participate in varsity athletics and have social lives and everything else that's very important of the high school experience. So another question over here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the question is concern of if they're learning social studies in Spanish or Chinese, does that put them at a disadvantage in the next year when the course is conducted in English? And I'm going to let the social studies teacher answer this.
Oh, thank you. I think I can say a lot of things for hours about how great it is to take an immersion course because I teach it, but I think the best answer for your question is standing right there. I can see some faces that were with me, and they are sophomores, juniors, I have a senior too. They took the immersion social studies class. They took American Studies, which is an honors 10th grade class for social studies. I have American US History, like APUSH, which is an AP level class in English. And when I talk to these kids in the hallways, they will always tell me like they're doing great in class. I talk to their teachers and they're like, wow, their presentation skills are amazing, for example, or the way they organize their ideas, because in 9th grade with me, they're not answering multiple choice tests, they're writing essays, they're coming to the front and presenting. So, well, Thais is in global politics. We have to write essays almost every week, and he can tell you about it. And they're succeeding. As you can see, they can be perfectly IB candidates, for example, which is the same as any student who went through the English process or through the English pathway, and they don't have any disadvantage, and I would say they even have an advantage just because they have like a more global vision of how the world works. And I think you can apply that to like specific skills when it comes to writing and speaking, but also when it comes to just thinking and reflecting and presenting different ideas. Like I make my students write essays about like human rights, for example, and they can choose problems or issues from all around the world, and they will present an essay in 5 or 6 pages that is just amazing. So to be honest, I don't think it's a disadvantage at all, and if there is something there, it's totally something positive that will help them either in an AP class or an IB class in the future, and later you can even ask them and they can tell you with their own words. Thank you.
Okay, and we're at almost time where we're going to have to start transitioning for the next 7 o'clock people to come in and everything, but are there any last questions? Yes. Yep. Yep, excellent question. And that's probably the path my son will be on too, is what's the normal path for immersion? And it's wonderful. The normal path that's not IB will get these kids to a place for their college experience too that is going to be amazing. And that path is with composition and conversation, which is doing some of the similar skills in IB, but just maybe at a little more manageable pace, but still at that depth level. So they're writing, they're reading, they're analyzing, they're synthesizing in that composition and conversation course. And then in our electives too, they're engaging at a high level of discussion in the films class or in the careers and professions class, which was new this fall. They've been engaging in mock interviews in the target language and really some life skills that they could apply if they're going to go into business in their target language. In the social studies pathway as well, those kids are able to manage their language 2 hours of the day with the Latin American politics or Chinese politics. So the normal pathway is strong, and I find it very exciting and comprehensive, and builds all the skills they're going to need to be successful to use this language in college and beyond in their careers. So I think I saw a hand here before, and then yes, and then I'll. Yep. Can you do the IB diploma and still participate in Minnetonka research, Tice?
Yes, I am in both research and in the IB diploma, and I even did a really cool thing where I combined my extended essay with research. So I was basically given like one-on-one tutoring by the Minnetonka research staff before anyone else was able to start their projects. So I was able to get back behind the lab and be able to do that stuff. Kind of because of IB, I was able to kind of get a leg up in it, which I thought was very interesting, very fun, and it's completely manageable to do both. I don't think by any means it's harder than taking another class, or, I mean, I think it's a very good experience to do both because they're very different, but yeah.
We probably have time for one more question, and then, yep.
Do you just have a general estimate of from when emerging kids start in kindergarten through 12th grade, what percent of them stay in immersion through that whole time, and then what percentage is a general track versus other options?
This is the first wave. These are the pioneers, we call them. This is the 12th grade class. There has not been a lot of attrition. I don't have specific numbers, but it's pretty steady. Just anecdotally, I'm trying to think. I think it started out in the upper 120s or 130s, and we have, I'd say, in the 50s to 60. And then, you have competing factors with, I guess when you're putting it that way, more than 50% have stayed. But I think that's going to change as we are having more course offerings and things. We can, because the population grows, and we can staff those classes. So, yep.
Can I ask something? Sorry, can I add something real short? I started with, in social studies at least, I started with 60 students, and now this year I have 115 students taking social studies in Spanish, which is amazing, and that's just 9th grade. That's without counting the politics class for seniors, so it's just growing. But I just wanted to add the fact that someone asked for the kind of regular path in Spanish. I tell parents when they are kind of deciding, at least for social studies, should I take AP Human Geography or Human Geography in Spanish? Of course, AP Human Geo is a great option, and it's an advanced class. But at the same time, I tell them, you know what, a whole year speaking and writing in Spanish with a native speaker, it's something that's kind of priceless. Not because it's me, but, well, okay, let's just say it. Let's go ahead and say it. I really wanted to say that, to be honest. Thank you, by the way. So I wanted to say that, you know how many people I meet that they are like, I wish I had more Spanish in high school. I wish I took more classes in college. They want to speak more Spanish. And these kids have the opportunity when they're 14 or 15 to speak Spanish every single day. And it's not just about buenos dias or buenas noches. It's all about using and applying your language, to study and analyze, I don't know, the US government, current events, geography, development, energy, resources. We connect our class to science. We connect our class to what's really going on around the world. So we're talking about the Senate, the House of Representatives, and civics, and everything in Spanish. And I know it's a concern from parents, like, wow, are they going to get this in English? Of course they do. I mean, to be honest, the words are not that different. but seriously, but still, these students are able to analyze everything in both languages. They're perfectly bilingual, so it's not that they're missing out all the content in English. They can still, when they talk to you, they're going to talk to you in English, and they're going to explain it to you in English, which is part of my homework every night, that they have to talk at home about this in their native language too. So it's that they're becoming bilingual, and a whole other year of practicing their Chinese or their Spanish, it's totally going to be a skill that they will use for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So the questions that you have, I'm going to be down here with the students, and you can come down. I do feel like we need some transition time to allow people to come in and maybe use the restroom. I'm Jody Siegel. My email is on the handout you received, and I am available for any other questions. I'll be here at the end of the second session too for questions, but at this time, and there's counselors down here and the IB coordinators down here. So we'll take a little transition time. We'll be down here to answer questions. And thank you so much for being here. We're really excited to have your students up here.